Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video we are talking about another easy to grow succulent called as Echeveria Fabiola. Now the parentage of this succulent is Echeveria purpureum and Echeveria derenbergii. A pretty easy to grow succulent, tends to do quite well in pretty much all of the environments, but basic care requirement is needed, and that's what we are going to be talking in this video. Talking about the soil requirement, it remains the same. The soil has to be loose, porous and well draining. Shouldn't have a lot of organic material in your soil. Ensure that the soil is well draining. Talking about watering, when the soil is completely bone dry, go ahead and do a complete watering until the water starts passing through the drain hole. If you are a person who's worried about overwatering your succulents, then you can just wait for some time. You will be able to see wrinkles on the lower leaves, as you can see over here. This indicates that the succulent requires watering and the succulent is thirsty. Overall of the look, you can see they have these beautiful triangular leaves which tend to look absolutely beautiful with these red tips. You can also see these markings. As and when you tend to expose them to morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours, you will be able to see these markings more evident, and they are going to turn reddish in color. Right now this succulent is not very stressed. It is going to take some time. Summer is their growing period because it belongs to the Echeveria varieties, so summer is their growing period. If you are a person who uses fertilizers, use fertilizers during the summer season. Avoid stressing your succulents during the growing period. Winter was their dormant period. It tends to get even more stressed. Right now my succulent is not quite stressed, but I will slowly introduce it to morning direct sunlight, and probably then it is going to look quite different. Currently this particular variety is very small. It's almost very small right now. It's a pup. It reaches to a good size, usually starts to grow upwards and tends to look like a rosette. Talking about Mealybug Attack, usually does not get affected with mealybugs, quite resilient to mealybugs because the leaves are very thick, unlike the other Echeverias that we have. It tends to get very compact. This is another sign of underwatering. You can see the leaves are wrinkled on the lower portion and the succulent is starting to close inwards. When I start watering it, the leaves will open slightly more and it will give me a sign that it has been hydrated. Propagation of this succulent is pretty simple. You can do a beheading, you can do a separation of offsets. It tends to put out a lot of offsets when it starts growing vertically, and it tends to put out a lot of pups. You can even separate the pups once they reach a decent size. This is not a pup of this variety. This is probably a leaf propagation or a leaf that was fallen into it. Apart from that, you can go for leaf propagation. Now as we are entering into the summer season, propagation will be slightly faster on Echeverias. Again, that does not mean during winters you cannot propagate Echeverias. You can still propagate it, but the growth rate is going to be slightly slow as compared to the summer season. So it's a pretty simple plant, non-fussy, non-finicky. You just need to take care of the basic watering, the soil requirement, and give it a good amount of morning direct sunlight, at least 5 to 6 hours, or indirect bright light. If you're growing them indoors, ensure that you are having a good quality of grow light, otherwise the succulent will stretch. Right now, as you can see, the succulent is looking very compact, and this is how it usually tends to look when it gets a good amount of lighting. But if it's going to lack the light, then it will start to stretch. Usually it is going to start stretching from the stem. You can see right now the stem is not visible, but when it tends to not get the enough amount of light, you will see a lot of stretching happening. So it's a fairly easy succulent. If you are a beginner, you can start off with this succulent. Not a much of an issue when you tend to follow the basic guidelines of growing Echeverias. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.